And our final speaker in the Pachachka series is Mike Dixon, National Director for PharmaSafe.
Hi, I'm Mark, and for me, life is all about the beach. The beach is the most perfect piece of creation, and it is where I go to rest, to be inspired, to think, to pout, to stomp my feet. But unfortunately, I haven't found a way to get paid to walk on the beach yet, so I've had to get a pharmacy degree, and I do work as a pharmacist. This is my Nan. She's 94. She'll be 95 next week. Lives on her own, yes, across from the beach. But she is a symbol of one of my passions, which is people, independence, and aging gracefully. And as a pharmacist, for me, this is what I get up every day to do. So I work for PharmaSafe. This is the crew I work with in the office that I work in with these people. And we support together 430 pharmacies across Canada who every day wake up to support people like my Nan to be at home and to be healthy and live healthy lives. So why do I work at PharmaSafe? It's making a difference, but it's also working with fabulous people. Working in a small company, I've also had the opportunity to have opportunities that I wouldn't otherwise get. So I'm also the chair of the Canadian Association of Chain Drugstores. Those logos on there represent 80% of the prescriptions filled in Canada. You want to talk about opportunity, that's one. So together we work on that. And when you're working and leading, you need to have a purpose and a journey. And this is another one of my favorite places on the West Coast Trail. There's a lot of stairs there. It's a big ladder, and the purpose is to get to the top. But I'm one of these guys, you know, one step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time. Sometimes you step sideways, but eventually you'll get to the purpose. We also need to bring our personality to our work. And clowns are one of my favorite things because they're happy and cheerful. They have a good outlook on life. But if you think about it, some of their skills, the juggling, it's about capacity, it's about dedication, it's about learning and applying yourself. What makes a good employee? Well, a good employee is not only an employee who puts out great output, but it's someone who brings a positive attitude and who is willing to learn and from whom you can learn as their supervisor. And Lynn typifies that for me. This guy had it all figured out in terms of recruiting. I heard it through the grapevine. In my industry, it's a very, very small industry, and our recruiting and our most successful recruiting is done through the grapevine. You hear about good places to work, you hear about good people, and that's how the connections are made. In today's world, that's one of the biggest things. The second thing is leadership, and this fellow took over as Prime Minister of our country the year I was born, was still Prime Minister of the country when I finished grade 10. So I guess you could say that he kind of typifies leadership for me in many ways. But leadership is one of the things that we, as a generation, are looking for and also want to emulate. A little point about the beach and capacity. One of the things that is important is that we have a capacity to work hard and to work hard for a long time. But that capacity needs not be abused because at some point we will leak. And you know what's going to happen to that dam here pretty quick when the tide goes up another inch. Our generation is known for changes, and you've heard a lot about that this day. But I like to look at it as seasons. The seasons overall balance to a year, and we will balance too. We work hard sometimes, we play hard sometimes, we learn hard sometimes. Overall, though, it's not so much about the change, it's about achieving balance in the great things that we do. Another great band, Knock 'em Dead Kid, and yeah, I like to do that, I like to stir up a little trouble. But the other thing that was on this album is, we're here for a good time, not a long time. And that is a bit of a mantra. And it's something that people ask us about. But it's not necessarily a problem. There are other ways of looking at it. Within my world, I've been able to change what I do. So sometimes I'm a pharmacist and I work with people and pills. Other times I work in the front on the merchandising side. And I can get as much satisfaction from my work doing a new planogram, which that is, and setting up all the bottles and figuring out what makes people buy stuff as I can out of figuring out what makes people well. The challenge for the company is to find the mix for me. Of course, there's always the boss, and she's here today, so I'm not going to say anything negative, of course. But one of the things that why I do what I do where I do is because of the leadership that I have the privilege of working for, the networks that she brings, the opportunities she presents to me, and the way that she leads me on to be bigger and better and learn and grow. Learning is, of course, part of the journey. This is my MBA crowd. And in an MBA program, I found anyway that you learn as much from the people in the different industries as you learn from the books. At PharmaSafe, I have the opportunity to continue to learn from the people I work with and the different projects that I get to work on. And for me, that's important. It's all about learning and the journey. Opportunity knocks. I also need to be presented with different opportunities. And one of the things that PharmaSafe does for me is present those opportunities. Sometimes more than one. And one of the challenges is that there are often more opportunities than there are hours in the day. So a little coaching and mentoring on which one is the right knock to answer is useful. Resources are also important. I need resources behind me. I need my company behind me in order that I can move on to new opportunities and answer new opportunities. If I'm stuck having to do the same thing every day, I don't have the room to grow. So the succession and getting the ducks in a row so that I can move on down the path is very important, and PharmaSafe provides me with that. At the end of the day, it's about success, and success is defined differently for different people. It's not necessarily reaching the corner office anymore. It might be reaching the top of the hill, or it might be reaching the hill that's beside it. It might be reaching a completely different goal. The purpose is what's important, and achieving it is the secondary. What are we afraid of as a generation? Growing old, being lonely, the same things as the generation before us, being stuck and looking out at the window at the world as opposed to participating in the world. Our work is necessary to get us so that we can have a different picture in retirement than this, and we are driven to that just as generations were before us. At the end of the day, this is where I want to be when I retire, on a long beach with lots of choices. I can walk, I can swim, I can paddle boat, and I can walk down the beach and find out what is around the corner at the end. When I walked this beach this summer, I was quite surprised what I found at the end of the beach, and I hope when I am older and retired, I am still discovering the beach.
Well, thank you very much, Mark. I really found that very interesting and very entertaining, and I don't know if I can pronounce it. What is it called? Pecha Kucha? That process. It was certainly cut down in the length of some of the meetings I've attended over my career, and folks, nodding off on slide number 4 of 32 slides to come. So thank you very much.